Thank you very much. Hello, I'm Alexander Armstrong, and this is Pointless, the quiz show where the lowest scorers are the biggest winners. To stay in the game, our contestants need to score as few points as possible. How do they score as few points as possible? Well, they need to come up with the most obscure answers they can muster. We've asked all our questions on Pointless to 100 people before the show. Could you plumb the depths of your knowledge to find those elusive answers that no one else can think of? For example, we gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many countries beginning with the letter S as they could. And we found out that 70 of them said Spain, an obvious answer that would score you a terribly high 70 points. However, only 23 of them said Sri Lanka, a less obvious country that would score you a respectably low 23 points. Now, occasionally there are even some answers that none of our 100 people could name. So, for example, none of them said St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That would have been a truly pointless country, and that would score you absolutely nothing. That's just what you want. If you find any of those, then we will add £250 to today's jackpot. So let's meet today's players. Kevin and Mark, welcome back. We give everyone 2 chances to reach the Pointless final, and today is your second and final chance. Can you remind us where you're from and how you two know each other?
We're both from London. This is my brother-in-law, married to my sister. This isn't actually our first appearance on the small screen. We did actually make a pilot episode for Star Trek: The Cockney Generation when we was on holiday in Florida in the late 80s, but it never got picked up.
It never came to anything. That's such a shame. Well, you should resubmit it, because I know a lot of people would love to see that. Remind us how you did last time.
Got through to the 3rd round, tripped up on an American president's question.
Oh, bad luck. Anyway, well, I'm sure you're going to do better today. On to our next pair, Pauline and Anne. You are the second pair. Welcome to the show. How do you two know each other?
Well, we've known each other for about 18 years. And we do lots of things together. We go away on holiday. And in fact, I even was Pauline's birthing partner when she had her first little boy.
Fantastic. Where are you from?
We're from a town called Newtownards, just outside Belfast.
County Down.
Yes.
Very good. Well, welcome to you both. Best of luck on the show this afternoon. Sandeep and Anu, welcome back. You are our 3rd pair. We give everyone 2 chances to reach the Pointless final. Today is your final chance. Remind us how you two know each other.
We're high school friends from New Delhi and know each other for more than 5 years. We're also good pub quiz partners and hope to do well today. Sans the alcohol.
Excellent. How did you do last time?
We lost out by a single point, so we hope to do better today.
That was really unfair. Well, best of luck to you this afternoon. And welcome back to our 4th pair today, Sue and Sharon. This is your second and final chance on Pointless. Remind us who you are.
We're mother and daughter, and we're lucky to have a second chance. And I'm with my film buff mum, whose favourite film is 3 Weddings and a Funeral.
Let's see if she can take it down to 2 weddings today.
She's working on it.
2 might have walked out this time.
Well, very best of luck to you. And finally, we've got Barry and Lisa. Welcome to the show. How do you two know each other?
Well, we met about 5 years on a really, really dull course. And she's been stalking me ever since, frankly.
What was the course?
It was an IT thing, and to be honest, it was only Lisa's sense of humour that actually got us through that course because it was dull.
Well, I hope the people who ran it aren't watching. Actually, no, they won't be. They'll be running an IT course. What am I talking about? Well, of course, there is one final person I need to introduce to you all. Here's the man with all the pointless facts and figures. Here's my pointless friend. It's Richard.
Oh, yeah. Hello.
Richard, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I couldn't be better.
Excellent. As you say, I've got all the facts and figures on today's show. I've got all the questions we're going to be hearing right here. I've also got all the answers to those questions. At the end of each round, I'll take you through all the pointless answers. Those are the ones Alexander was talking about that none of our 100 people got. If you're playing along at home, you can see how well you've done. I'll also take you through the obvious answers, the stuff that everybody says, the opposite of 3 weddings and a funeral. So I'll take you through the 4 weddings and a funerals type answers we'll be looking for. I think we've got a great show today. I think Sandeep and Anu will want to get a bit of revenge on Sue and Sharon, who knocked them out by 1 point in the last game. And I think also Kevin and Mark were very, very strong. So best of luck to everybody. Best of luck to everybody at home.
Last time, David and Jamie managed to win the jackpot of £3,000. So it starts off today at £1,000. And remember, if you find some pointless answers along the way, each of those will add £250 to that amount. Let's play Pointless. In the first round, each of you must give me one answer and you cannot confer with your partner. You will score 1 point for every one of the 100 people that gave that same answer. And remember, this is pointless. You are trying to find the least well-known answers and score the fewest points. If anyone gives me an incorrect answer, they will score the maximum of 100 points, so do please be careful. If you do give an incorrect answer, this will happen. You really don't want to see that. At the end of the round, your combined score will be added up and the highest scoring pair will be eliminated. Only 2 pairs obviously make it through to our head-to-head semi-final, so the pressure is really on. OK, our first category is music. Can you decide in your pairs who's going to go first, who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. OK, let's find out what our first question is going to be. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many Queen top 40 singles as they could. Richard.
Yeah, we're looking for any of the 43 singles released by Queen that made it into the UK top 40. We're not looking for anything by the latest incarnation, which is Queen with Paul Rodgers, just the old Queen. Queen quite often released double A-sided singles, and on those occasions, both songs will count as the same release. There are 43 Queen singles to choose from.
Thanks very much, Richard. Right, Kevin and Mark, before the show, you all drew lots, and today it turns out you will be starting us off. Kevin, we are looking for Queen top 40 singles. The more obscure, the better.
I'm going to go for I'm in Love with My Car.
Very good. Let's see how many of our 100 people said I'm in love with my car. Unfortunately, that is a wrong answer, which means you scored a maximum of 100 points. Oh, bad luck, Kevin. Richard, I'm in love with my car.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I don't know what to do about it.
Kevin, I'm so sorry again. It is a Queen song, but it was a B-side. It wasn't officially an A-side. And it was the B-side to a song that I'm not allowed to mention just in case anybody else wants to say it.
Bad luck. You kick us off with the highest possible score of 100. On to our next pair. Pauline, what are you going to say? We are looking for Queen top 40 singles.
I think I'll play it safe and say I want to break free.
OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said I want to break free. It's a correct answer. Not bad. That means 26 of our 100 people said I want to break free. That gives Pauline and Anne a score of 26. On to our next pair. Sandeep, you a Queen fan?
Not really, but I'll go for Under Pressure.
Under Pressure. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Under Pressure. It's a correct answer. Not bad at all. That means 8 of our 100 people said Under Pressure. That gives you a good low score of 8. Well done. On to our next pair, Sue. We are looking for Queen top 40 singles.
I don't think I've ever heard a Queen song in my life, so I'm going to guess and say Lovers.
If it is a wrong answer, they've done a lot of singles. Lovers. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Lovers. If it is an incorrect answer, you will score the maximum of 100 points. How many of our 100 people said Lovers? Sadly, that is a wrong answer, which means you score 100 points. Do you know any other songs called Lovers?
I don't know of any Queen songs at all, not one.
OK, on to our 5th pair. Barry, what are you going to say? We're looking for Queen top 40 singles.
I think I'm going to play reasonably safe with the 7 Seas of Rhye.
The 7 Seas of Rhye. Very good. Let's see how many of our 100 people said that. Well, it's a Queen song. It's a good one. Look at that. Down it goes. That means only 5 of our 100 people said the 7 Seas of Rhye. That gives Barry and Lisa a very good low score of 5. Well, we are halfway through the round. Let's see how we're doing on the scores. Barry and Lisa, as I say, doing very well. 5 is the lowest score there. Keep up that low scoring and you'll definitely be into the next round. For Sue and Sharon, Kevin and Mark, things are looking a little bit dangerous. You are on the maximum of 100 there. OK, we're going to come back up the line. Can the second players please take their places at the podium? OK, Lisa, we are looking for Queen Top 40 singles. You are currently on 5. You want to be scoring 94 or less with your answer to avoid becoming the high scorers and risk being eliminated at the end of the round.
OK, I'm going to go with the karaoke song I usually sing, which is Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
Here comes the red line. You have to be below that red line to be certain of going through to the next round. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Crazy Little Thing Called Love. That's a correct answer. Very good. That means only 2 of our 100 people said Crazy Little Thing Called Love. That takes your score up to 7. You are definitely in the next round. OK, on to our next pair, Sharon and Sue. We are looking for Queen Top 40 singles. You are currently our joint high scorers on 100. You have to try and find the lowest scoring song you can.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said Bohemian Rhapsody. We are looking for the more obscure Queen songs. You've really got to hope this score's low for you. OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said Bohemian Rhapsody. Well, it's correct. That means 64 of our 100 people said Bohemian Rhapsody. That takes your score up to 164. You are our high scorers now. OK, on to Sandeep and Anu. Anu, what are you going to give me? We are looking for Queen Top 40 singles.
I can't think of an obscure single, but I can certainly hope that We Are the Champions describes what we end up doing. I don't know.
OK, well, let's hope. Doesn't matter what you score here, you're definitely through to the next round. Even if you scored the maximum of 100, you still wouldn't overtake Sharon and Sue's high score there. Let's see how We Are the Champions has done. It's a correct answer. Well, it's good enough. That means 57 of our 100 people said We Are the Champions. That brings your score up to 65. OK, Anne and Pauline, you also can't lose. Even if you score the maximum of 100 points, you're still through to the next round. Why not see if you can find a pointless answer and add £250 to our jackpot?
OK, I've got a couple, but I think I'll go with I Want to Ride My Bicycle.
I Want to Ride My Bicycle. Let's see how many of our 100 people said that. Unfortunately, that is a wrong answer, which means you score 100 points. That takes your total up to 126. Fortunately for you, though, you are still through to the next round, as Sharon and Sue have scored 164. Right, on to our final pair. Mark, we are looking for Queen Top 40 singles. You are currently on 100 points. To avoid becoming the high scorers and being eliminated, you have to score 63 or less. What's it going to be?
I'm going with Killer Queen.
Killer Queen. Ooh, I have a good feeling about this. There is your red line. If you come below that red line, you are through to the next round. If you are above that red line, you are off the show. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Killer Queen. It's correct. You're through. And it's good. Very good. That means 19 of our 100 people said Killer Queen. That brings your score up to 119. So, at the end of round 1, the losing pair with the highest score is Sue and Sharon. Bad luck.
Mind.
Never mind. Well, it was a tough category for you, that one, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Richard, what answers should they have gone for?
Let's take a look at the pointless answers. There are quite a few, actually, of the 43 singles they released. These are the answers that none of our 100 people could remember. Thank God it's Christmas. Body Language, A Winter's Tale. Well done if you've got any of those at home. There are a few more of answers that none of our 100 gave. Friends Will Be Friends, nobody mentioned at all. Heaven for Everyone, La Palabras d'Amor, Scandal, Too Much Love Will Kill You, which was released after Freddie Mercury's death, but was actually about Brian May's divorce. Funnily enough, yeah, it's like you take some of the sort of...
it does, some of the gloss off it.
And You Don't Fool Me was also a pointless answer. There are plenty there. If we take a look at the worst answers, we'll go from the top down, because Sharon, you gave us the most obvious answer of all, which was Bohemian Rhapsody. The second most was We Are the Champions, which Anne gave us, which is actually backed with We Will Rock You, which I suspect doubles up its points. Any ideas on third, a Queen song?
Radio Gaga.
I'm hearing Radio Gaga behind me.
Radio Gaga is exactly right. It was the third worst answer. Okay, Anne, you gave us I Want to Ride My Bicycle. That song's actually called Bicycle Race, which is why we couldn't accept that. And Kevin, I promised you I would tell you what I'm in Love with My Car was a B-side was. It was the original release of Bohemian Rhapsody. So a very well-known song, but not an A-side.
Thanks, Richard. Sue and Sharon, that was your second and final chance on the show. You just don't have that pointless Queen knowledge you needed to get through to the final, I'm afraid. So we have to say goodbye, but thanks so much for playing.
Thank you. Thank you.
OK, guys, the round 2 category is words. Can you decide in your pairs who's going to go first and who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. Now, remember, Pointless is all about scoring the fewest points. You need to rack your brains for those obscure and unheard-of answers that you think none of our 100 people said. With that in mind, let's find out what the question is. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many words that you can make out of garden as they could. Words you can make out of garden, Richard?
Yeah, good luck with this one. We're looking for any words of 3 letters or more that you can make out of the letters of the word garden. The words have to be in the Oxford English Dictionary. No plurals or proper nouns, but apart from that, absolutely anything goes. I will say one thing in case you're thinking of cheating, especially you two, because you're first. We're not going to allow the word garden.
Very good. Thanks, Richard. OK, Kevin and Mark. You are first up. Kevin, a word out of garden.
Raged. R-A-G-E-D.
OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said raged. It's correct. Oh, very good. That means only 3 people out of our 100 said raged. That kicks Kevin and Mark off with a lovely low score of 3. On to our next pair. Pauline, what are you going to say?
I will go for drag.
Drag. Very good. Let's see how many of our 100 people said drag. That's a correct answer. Another good one. Not bad. That means 26 of our 100 people said drag. On to our next pair. Anu, we are looking for words you can make out of the word garden.
I'll go for gear.
Gear. Let's see how many of our 100 people said gear. It's a correct answer. It's good. That means 18 of our 100 people said gear. That gives Anu and Sandeep a score of 18. And finally, Lisa, words you can make out of garden.
I'm going to go for Dean, D-E-A-N.
Dean. Excellent. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Dean. It's correct. Very good. That means 18 of our 100 people said Dean. Right, we are halfway through the round. Let's have a look at the scores and see how we are doing. Well, Kevin and Mark looking pretty invincible there on 3. Keep up that low scoring and you'll be through to the next round. Pauline and Anne, it's not a bad score, 26, but I'm afraid you are way out in front. OK, we're going to come back down the line. Will the second players please take their places at the podium? Barry, we are looking for words that you can make out of garden. You are currently on 18. Anne and Pauline are our high scorers on 26. If you can score 7 or less with this answer, you are definitely through to the next round.
Right. I'm going to go for dreg.
Here comes your red line. If you are below that red line, you are definitely through to the next round. Let's see how many people said dreg. It's a correct answer. Oh, it's good. That means 6 of our 100 people said dreg. That takes your total to 24. You only needed 7 points. You got 6 points. You are through to the next round. Sandeep, we are looking for words you can make out of garden.
Not that I'm one, but I'll go for nerd.
You're going to go for nerd. Very good. There is your red line. If you are below that red line, you are definitely through to the next round. That's a correct answer. That means 20 of our 100 people said nerd. That takes your total up to 38. You are our current high scorers, but it's not over yet. Anne, you are on 26. Sandeep and Anu are our high scorers at the moment on 38. To avoid overtaking them and risk being eliminated at the end of the round, you have to score 11 or less. What are you going to give me?
I think I'll go with darn.
Darn. Let's hope you won't be saying that at the end of this go. OK, there is your red line. Below that red line, you are definitely through to the next round. Let's see how many of our 100 people said darn. It's good. Oh! That means 26 of our 100 people said darn. That takes your total up to 52. You are now way out in front. You are the high scorers, and you risk being eliminated at the end of this round. Good news for Sandeep and Anu there. They are now definitely through to the next round. OK, on to our final pair. Mark, you're on 3. Our high scorers at the moment are Anne and Pauline on 52. To avoid overtaking them and becoming the high scorers and being booted off the show, you have to score 48 or less. What are you going to give me?
I'm going to go with near.
OK, we are looking for words you can make out of garden. You are going to say near. There is your red line. If you are below that red line, you are definitely through. If you are above that red line, you are off the show. Let's see how many of our 100 people said near. Good news for you. Bad news for Anne and Pauline. That means only 28 of our 100 people said near. That takes your total up to 31. You are through to the next round. So at the end of round 2, the losing pair with the highest score is Pauline and Anne. Darn, as you said.
Indeed.
I know. Oh, is that a bit of a drag going off the show? Yeah, very good. Well, Richard, what should they have gone for?
Well, there are 60 words in the English language that you can make out of garden, and egad, 15 of them are pointless. Including egad. These are the answers that none of our 100 people could remember. Ranged, which is a full anagram of garden. There are 2 others, actually. Danger, which would have got you 9 points, and gander, which would have got you 3. They're full anagrams. Ager, which is an aging apparatus or chamber. Gnar, or gnar, which is to snarl or growl. Well done if you've got any of these at home. Let's take a couple more. Nay, which is a version of nay, which can either mean now or no. Gain is to open the mouth wide. It essentially means yawn, and nard, which is a fragrant ointment, unlike nerd, which Sandeep gave us. I said you were going to get your revenge. It's a revenge of the nerds. It's well done. Let's take a look at the 3 worst answers you could have given, the 3 most popular ones. In third, it was rag. Quite rightly before rag, it was red. And the worst answer you could have given of all, den. Den would have got you 78 points.
OK, thanks, Richard. Pauline and Anne, I'm afraid you've wasted one of your chances to get through to the pointless final. We have to say goodbye for today, but we'll see you next time for your last chance. Thanks so much for playing. Now, obviously, only 2 pairs make it through to our head-to-head, so this is your final chance. All of you need to find those low-scoring answers to stay in the game. The round 3 category is sport. OK, so who's going to go first? Who's going to go second?
You want me to?
Right, whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. Let's find out what the question's going to be. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many Formula One world champions as they could. Richard, what does that mean?
Yeah, we're looking for any driver who's won the Formula One World Drivers' Championship since 1950, and that's the official championship awarded by the FIA. There are 30 names on the list.
Very good. OK, remember, you need to score the fewest points. So you need to give the answers that the fewest of our 100 people said. All right, Kevin. Let's have a Formula One world champion, a really obscure.
The first one that springs to mind is Jim Clark.
Jim Clark.
Early 60s.
Let's see how many of our 100 people said Jim Clark. It's a correct answer. That's a good one. It's very good. That means 7 of our 100 people said Jim Clark. That kicks Kevin and Mark off with a nice low score of 7. Richard, Jim Clark.
Yeah, Jim Clark, good answer. He won the World Championship 63 and 65, and he was a Brit.
OK, on to our next pair. Sandeep, we are looking for a Formula One world champion.
I'll go for Jody Scheckter.
Let's see how many of our 100 people said that. It's correct. Very good. Look at that. That means none of our 100 people said that, and it adds £250 to today's jackpot, taking the total up to £1,250. Well done, Sandeep. Jody Scheckter.
He's a South African. He won in 1979.
Well done, Sandeep. Congratulations. OK, on to our final pair. Lisa, we are looking for Formula One World Champions. What are you going to give me?
This is either a real guy or just a name I've made up, but I'm thinking Keke Rosberg.
You've got a great imagination if you just made that up. Keke Rosberg. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Keke Rosberg. And let's also see if it's a proper answer. It is a proper answer. It's a very proper answer. Look at that. Perfect. That means only 4 of our 100 people said Keke Rosberg. That means it was an excellent answer to give, Lisa. OK, we are halfway through the round. Let's see where we are on the scoreboard. Sandeep and Anu looking fantastic there on 0. Keep up that low scoring and you are straight through to the next round. The other scores are still pretty low. Kevin and Mark on 7. I thought that was a really good low score, but you are now our front runners in terms of score. OK, we're going to come back down the line. Can the second players please take their places at the podium? All right, Barry, we are looking for Formula One World Champions. You are on 4, a lovely low score, but you're only 3 points behind our score leaders on 7. So to avoid becoming the high scorers, you have to score 2 or less with this answer. Formula One World Champions. See if you can do as well as Lisa did with Keke Rosberg.
Well, I don't think I can play it safe here, so I'm going to have to go out on a limb a little bit with Alan Jones.
There is, if you can just about make it out, just up off the floor, there is the red line. You have to be below that red line to be absolutely safe and certain of a place in the next round. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Alan Jones. That's a correct answer. It's good. Is it good enough? Yes, it is good enough! I said you needed a pointless answer, and you gave me one. That means none of our 100 people said Alan Jones, and that adds another £250 to today's jackpot, taking the total up to £1,500. Congratulations, Richard. Alan Jones.
Yeah, brilliant scoring, guys. Well done, Barry. Yeah, Alan Jones was an Australian, won in 1980, always wearing lucky red underpants.
Thank you, Richard. OK, Anu, your turn. No pressure. You are the low scorers at the moment. To avoid becoming the high scorers, you have to score 6 or less, otherwise you will overtake Mark and Kevin. We're looking for Formula One World Champions.
Here, I'll go for Flavio Briatore. Is that how it's spelled?
Let's just have a look at the board, see where that red line is. There it is. Below that red line, and you are straight through to the next round. Above that red line, you become our high scorers and risk being eliminated. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Fabio Briatore. Oh! Unfortunately, that is a wrong answer, which means you scored a maximum of 100 points. Oh, you are now the high scorers, I need hardly remind you. OK, on to our final pair. Mark, you are currently on 7. Sandeep and Anu, having scored a pointless in the first pass, have gone out on a limb with Fabio Briatore and scored the maximum of 100 points. Possibly a bit of a lifeline for you, but you have to make sure your score comes in under 92 points, or you will be our high scorers and will be eliminated at the end of the round. What's it going to be, Mark?
I'm going to go with Jackie Stewart.
You're going to go with Jackie Stewart. A nice, safe answer. There is the red line. If you are below that red line, you are through to the next round. If you are above that red line, you are off the show. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Jackie Stewart. You're through. That means 29 of our 100 people said Jackie Stewart. That brings your total up to 36. So at the end of round 3, I'm afraid the losing pair with the highest score is Anu and Sandeep. Bad luck. Sandeep, are you a big Formula One fan?
Yeah, I was actually hoping for this question.
Really? Oh no! So this was your specialist area.
But not.
Are you feeling as Anu let you down
It should be an
badly?
uncomfortable ride back home for sure.
Oh dear! Oh dear! Richard, what answers should they have given if they'd wanted to stay in?
Well, they shouldn't have given Flavio Briatore. He's a team owner rather than a racing driver. He's been involved in a number of teams, notably Benetton. There were 5 pointless answers that none of our 100 people got. We've already had 2 of them. We've already had Alan Jones from Barry. We had Jody Scheckter from Sandeep. Alberto Ascari, who won in the early 50s for Ferrari. Denny Hume, who was a New Zealander. If you got him, well done. He's a very obscure winner. A couple more. Giuseppe Farina, who was the very first world champion. Jody Scheckter we've had, which is an absolutely brilliant answer. The obvious ones, Ayrton Senna was 3rd, the late Ayrton Senna. Michael Schumacher was 2nd. And Anu, why don't we let you have the glory? Who do you think was the top answer of all?
Lewis Hamilton?
Lewis Hamilton, that's exactly right. It's the most obvious answer of all with 69 points.
Sandeep and Anu, that was your second and final chance on the show. Sadly, you just didn't have that pointless Formula One knowledge you needed to get through to the final, so I'm afraid we have to say goodbye. But thank you so much for playing. Thank you. But for the remaining 2 pairs, things are going to get even more exciting now as we enter the head-to-head. So well done, Barry and Lisa, Kevin and Mark. You've made it through to the head-to-head. Now, obviously only one pair can make it through to today's final and play for the jackpot, which currently stands at £1,500. Right, here's how the head-to-head works. You are now allowed to confer. Each team will take turns to give me an answer, and you'll each have an equal number of turns. The first team that accumulates more than 100 points, or the team that goes over 100 by the most, will lose. So, as always, to stay in the game, you want to come up with those weird facts that everyone else forgets and score as few points as possible. Barry and Lisa, you performed best over the previous 3 rounds, so not only do you get to decide whether or not you go first, you also get to choose the topic, and your choice is between royal history or international politics.
They're not great categories for us, but we'll go for royal history, please.
Royal history. OK, would you like to go first or second?
We'll go first.
First, please.
OK, let's play Pointless. Right, let's find out what the question's going to be. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many royal houses of England since 1066 as they could. Richard?
Yeah, we're looking for the familial designations, which is what those less posh of us would call surnames, of any of the royal houses or dynasties that have ruled England since 1066.
Right. OK, and remember, you don't want to go over 100, so you want to score the lowest number of points each time. What are those royal houses that no one else could think of? Barry and Lisa, you're going to go first. What do you think?
I think we're going to go for Saxe-Coburg-Gotha.
Very good. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. That's a good answer. Down it goes. That means only 10 of our 100 people said Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. That gives you a score of 10 after your first answer. OK, Kevin and Mark, we are looking for royal houses of England since 1066. What's your first answer going to be?
It's not our strong point, as you'll soon find out. We're going with Stuart.
Let's see how many of our 100 people said Stuart. It's the right answer. That means 40 of our 100 people said Stuart. You've each given me one answer. The scores at the moment are Kevin and Mark on 40, Barry and Lisa on 10. Now, Barry and Lisa, for your second answer, you need to be careful now because your next answer could take you over 100 points and you could risk your place in the Pointless final. So your next answer needs to score 90 or less to avoid going over the 100. What are you going to give me?
Can we have Hanover, please?
OK. There's the red safety line. Below that red line, you have avoided going over 100. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Hanover. It's correct. Very good. That means 6 of our 100 people said Hanover. That takes your score after your second answer to 16. Kevin and Mark, you are currently on 40. To avoid going over the 100 and being eliminated, you have to score 60 or less. What are you going to give me? We're looking for Royal Houses of England.
We're going to go for Tudor.
OK, there is the red safety line. Above that red safety line, you have gone over 100 points and you are off the show. Below that red safety line, and you are still in the game. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Tudor. You have had 2 turns each, and Kevin and Mark, you have gone over 100 points. I'm afraid that means you are off the show. Bad luck. Not your strong suit, I'm guessing.
No.
No. Now the pressure's off, are you thinking of any other ones?
No, we ain't got any. That was it.
Oh, dear, oh dear. No, that was very tough. Richard?
Well, there were a few obscure answers. There were no pointless answers, and Barry and Lisa actually did very well. They missed the most obscure answer, which was the Angevin dynasty, with Richard the Lionheart, the most famous of those. But they got the next 2. Hanover they got, which only 6 people got. That's 1714 to 1901. And the Saxe-Coburg-Gothas got 10. Let's take a look at the most obvious answers. Kindly, Kevin and Mark, you've already given us a couple of them. There's the Stuarts, there's the Tudors, who the Stuarts took over from, and right at the top, the Windsors, would have got you 66 points.
Well, Kevin and Mark, that was your second and final chance on the show. You clearly just don't have that pointless royal history knowledge that you needed to get through to the final. So I'm afraid we have to say goodbye, but thank you so much for playing. Congratulations, Barry and Lisa. It's only your first time on the show and you've made it to the end of Pointless. You've fought off all the competition and you've won our coveted Pointless trophy. Now you've got a chance to win our Pointless jackpot. At the end of today's show, the jackpot stands at £1,500. OK, the rules are very simple. To win the money, all you have to do is find a pointless answer that none of our 100 people could think of. Now, we've had 2 pointless answers today, and you gave us one of them, Barry. All you have to do is find one more. First, you've got to find a category from these 3 options. You can pick modern art, pop princesses, or golf.
What do you think?
There's only one I've ever... Any inkling on it would be pop princesses, but...
It's the one I would run a million miles away from.
Have you got 3 answers for golf, though, and 3 for modern art? Well, you don't know what the question is, really, do you?
Will you trust me on golf?
I'll trust you, go on.
You
better
got
than pop princesses.
Better than pop princesses.
I'd like it to be his fault if we lose, so
yeah,
I'm happy to go along with Barry.
Right, well, let's find out what the question is. So, we gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many golfers that have won the Open Championship since 1970 as they could. Richard.
We're looking for any of the golfers who won the Open Championship, what the Americans call the British Open, from 1970 through to the present day. We won't accept this year's winner, Stuart Sink, but any of the other winners. There are 25 names on the list. Good luck, Lisa.
OK, you now have up to 1 minute to come up with 3 answers. All you need to win that £1,500 is for just one of those answers to be pointless. Your 60 seconds start now.
I think I'm going to be doing most of the talking here, aren't I?
I know a few, but the really obvious
What have you
ones.
got?
I know Tiger Woods, Seve Ballesteros, Greg Norman, them sort of people, but I don't know if they're even there.
Right, well, I'm looking at people like Mark Calcavecchia,
OK.
Ian Baker Finch, Justin Lennon,
Take it away.
Tom Lehman. Lots of Americans in the last sort of 10, 15 years whose name, Ben Curtis, that might be a good... Right.
I was going to say Ben Curtis.
30 seconds.
Right, I reckon... Have I imagined... No, it's not Ben Curtis, is it?
Don't know.
Is he a rugby player?
Just get 3 that you're sure of, really.
Yeah, I don't want to waste
We've
one.
got a chance of 3, haven't we?
Ian Baker Finch. Ian Baker Finch. Mark Calcavecchia, I don't think is going to be that low. Justin Leonard, Tom Lehman, Ian Baker Finch.
OK, I'm happy with that.
Those are your 3 answers?
Yes, those are
OK, let's stop the clock. OK, which 3 answers are you going for?
Justin Leonard.
Justin Leonard.
Tom Lehman.
Tom Lehman.
Who I'm now doubting. And Ian Baker Finch, who I saw win.
And Ian Baker Finch. Let's put those three answers up on the board. Justin Leonard, Tom Lehman, and Ian Baker Finch. OK, this is for the jackpot of £1,500. One of those answers has to be pointless. Pointless. None of our 100 people need to have said those names. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Justin Leonard. This has to be pointless for the jackpot of £1,500. It's good. This for £1,500. It's a right answer. Is it going to be low enough? It has to be pointless. Unfortunately, one person out of our 100 said Justin Leonard, so unfortunately that is not a pointless answer. You only have 2 more chances to win today's jackpot. We are looking for golfers that have won the Open Championship since 1970, and you want one that none of our 100 named. We're going to go with Tom Lehman. This is your second chance. This has to be a pointless answer. Are you confident with Tom Lehman?
Not necessarily.
I've never heard of him, so...
OK, if it's incorrect, obviously, you'll have blown this second chance and everything will be riding on Ian Baker Finch. OK, this has to be a pointless answer. Let's see how many of our 100 people went with Tom Lehman. Well, it's good. It has to be pointless, though. Can't be 3, can't be 2, can't be 1. It has to be pointless for £1,500. Well, congratulations. You managed to find that all-important pointless answer. That means you go home with a jackpot of £1,500. Well done.
Very nice.
Oh. See, Barry, you weren't sure about Tom Lehman, were
wasn't.
you? No, you thought Justin Leonard was a better bet. Tom Lehman, though.
Tom Lehman.
There you are. What was the other one you said?
I mentioned Ben Curtis, and then I thought he might have been a rugby player, and I mentioned Mark Calcavecchia. And that's about it, really.
Ian Baker Finch was the other one.
And Ian Baker Finch.
Obviously, Ian Baker Finch we had in reserve. Fantastic. Richard?
Congratulations. Tom Lehman won in 1996, went on to be Ryder Cup captain, all sorts of things. It's a great answer. If we'd had to go on and say Ian Baker Finch, that was also a pointless answer, the 1991 winner. So 2 pointless answers out of 3. 1 person for Justin Leonard. Congratulations.
Anyway, well done, guys. You've been fantastic.
Thank you.
Richly deserved. Very good. Well done. So Barry and Lisa won today's jackpot. Join us next time when we put more obscure knowledge and forgotten facts to the test on Pointless. Meanwhile, it's goodbye from Richard.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.